Michael Block, I have great respect for this guy, great writer, thinker. Looking at these markets, looking at the Federal Reserve meeting today, wrapping up tomorrow, I guess the thinking is, Michael, they're not going to necessarily hike rates now, but they could in June. When the thinking wasn't that long ago, they might not this whole year. What do you think happens?
Well, there's a zero chance being put on tomorrow, and that would be a bombshell like we haven't seen in a long time. Yeah, well, I can't imagine, but I can't even imagine the after effects of that. But here's the thing. We've heard all along that the Fed is data dependent. It's all about growth, employment, wages. That's all bunk. If that was true, they would have raised rates a lot more a long time ago. Here's the thing. What does it come down to? What does the Fed care about? The last meeting, all we heard about was, well, we're concerned about global market turmoil and economic turmoil, and we're not going to raise rates. So don't expect us to do anything right now or in the foreseeable future. Okay. And, you know, what's happened is people have said, well, markets have gotten better. Oil stabilized, all these commodities have stabilized, the S&P 500 has rallied, over 10%, 12%. So does that mean there's stability now and the Fed will say, yep, we're back on our hiking? Or is there something else going on? Now, I've looked at the last Fed minutes, and if you dig in there over and over again, like an alarm bell, they talk about the strong dollar, over and over and over again. If they're worried about the dollar getting stronger, then they're going to stay dovish tomorrow. And they're going to stay dovish for a long time, especially given that the ECB and the Bank of Japan
European Central Bank.
And arguably the Chinese Central Bank are all on this mission to keep their currency weak, to continue accommodating. If the Fed has to compete with that, they're never going to raise rates.
I think they're worried. I don't know what they're worried about. It could be that dollar situation. It could be Europe potentially imploding. Could be Britain if it checks out the euro. I don't know. But they're worried about something because you said there were plenty of evidence to give them a chance to pull the trigger, and they haven't.
They haven't done it, and now they're stuck. It's not the time. Brazil is on the verge of a bloodless coup here, if you will. You know, we're going to see the leadership go, and it's being seen as a bullish sign. But those markets have run a lot. Then what? What's going on in China? What's going on with their currency? What's going on with their reserve situation?
Is the fear that if they raise rates, more of that money comes here and it puts all these guys at a disadvantage?
The stronger dollar makes it harder for Brazil and a lot of these emerging markets to service their debt. We have no idea.
And for us to service sales abroad. Right?
Well, and that's the issue, too. What is China going to do? What are the Saudis going to do? What happens to the oil price? Everyone's copacetic saying, oh, oil bottomed. Gee, I've heard that before. I've heard it twice in the past 2 years, and both times you get your fingers burnt going in too soon.
What about the notion that we're getting deeper and deeper into a political year? They don't like to do it. And you and I know they have done in the past, but sparingly. If conditions warranted and all of a sudden things were running away, would they be hiking?
Well, let me look at it two ways here. Number one, let's not pretend that there isn't some political bias here. I do think that there is a lot of back-channel talking that goes on between the White House and the Fed. Heck, we saw Yellen did go to the White House and met with President Obama recently. What was that, a week and a half ago?
It's not unusual.
It's not unusual. It's not unusual at all. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Nothing on a tinfoil hat here. But let's just say.
You had one before you got on the air, though.
Well, that's just what I wear around with my Elton John sunglasses. Right. Yeah. So. What we have, what we have going on here is definitely Yellen does not want to rock the boat. She doesn't want to upset things. She doesn't want to create more turmoil than's already going on. The last thing you want to do is have people say the status quo is messed up. The White House doesn't want that. Congress doesn't want that. And frankly, no one who's part of the status quo, which the Fed is, wants that right now. We could say that. Number two.
Or you don't want to mess a good thing, right? Whatever they've done, which is nothing, has been good. Markets like it. Markets have come back. Is it your thinking that if they were to commence with another rate hike, that all that would unravel?
Potentially it could. Now, I came into this week thinking that everyone was going to be scared about a hawkish statement tomorrow. But as it turns out, there's more balance going on. If everyone worried about a hawkish statement, we're in this bizarre world where sentiment goes the other way. Joe just talked about earnings. No one expects anything from Chipotle. No one expects anything from Twitter. Everyone's worried about Apple, which kind of tells me with all three of those stocks, maybe you're going to look at, the bad news is going to come out and those stocks could rally anyway.
That's
a bizarre thing. We saw it with the Intel print, where it traded down at first on, sure enough, bad guidance, and then it rocketed back up. We've seen strange things happen. The BOJ eased in late January. The yen rallied. It should have went down. It rallied. What's going on here? It's a bizarre world where sentiment trumps everything else. Pardon my use of the word Trump.
All right, real quick, on Prince, left no will. Did you buy that?
I think he left a will and it's hiding somewhere, and someday soon we're going to find a treasure map, and it's going to have some new songs on it. I'm talking book here. I hope this happens. Obviously, it's a great loss.
Maybe
and,
it's all written in symbols.
The story is not over. We're going to find some interesting things here.
He was a very shrewd businessman, you know?
He was
very shrewd.
There was a method to the madness. I kind of compare him a bit to comic genius Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
Prince was a musical
might
genius,
be alive.
but he was trolling us a little bit.
Yeah.
And there was something going on where when he gave these interviews and people said, "I don't understand what he's saying." There was a method to the madness. True brilliance.
You think it's true that he has this vault full of music, maybe 39, 40 albums worth of music videos, all of that?
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope to find that.
All right. Thank you, my friend, very much. Michael Block.